Money rules the world, but who rules money? From Wall Street, towers, to hidden vaults in Zurich, the architecture of power isn't built from stone or steel, but from balance sheets and credit lines. Behind every government, every war, every market boom and crash stands an invisible empire, the global financial system. A network of banks, institutions, and shadow markets that move trillions with a single keystroke. This system has no flag, no anthem, and no borders. It answers not to voters, but to confidence, a fragile belief that tomorrow will look like today, and at its core lie the masters of liquidity, the central banks. They don't just manage economies, they shape destinies. When they print, nations rise. When they tighten, empires fall. Long before Wall Street, control over money began in royal courts and counting houses. In 1694, the Bank of England was born, not to serve the people, but to fund a war. The king was broke, and merchants stepped in with gold. In exchange, they received bonds backed by taxes. It was the beginning of national debt and the end of financial independence. From that moment, governments became borrowers and bankers became the new kings. Across Europe, central banks multiplied, each with a single purpose: to turn promises into power. Money was no longer created through work or trade, but through credit. Belief transformed into value. A silent revolution had begun. The age of rulers gave way to the age of lenders. In 1913, amid political turmoil and secret meetings on Jekyll Island, the United States created its own power center, the Federal Reserve. It was designed to stabilize markets, but soon it became something more, the engine of global finance. The Fed could now create money from thin air, printing confidence itself. Every dollar became both a promise and a weapon. Wars were financed, crises managed, and global markets bent around the greenback. The U.S. no longer conquered territories with armies. It conquered economies with currency. The dollar became the world's heartbeat, and the Fed its pulse. In 1944, as World War II neared its end, leaders gathered in a quiet New Hampshire hotel to rewrite the rules of money. From the ashes of empire, a new order emerged. The Bretton Woods system. The U.S. dollar was crowned the global reserve currency, backed by gold. Other nations would peg their money to it, and America would hold the keys to stability, but power breeds temptation. By the 1970s, the U.S. printed more dollars than it had gold to back. When Nixon finally closed the gold window in 1971, the last link between money and metal vanished forever. From that day on, value was faith, and America held the world's belief in its hands. The 1980s and 1990s brought computers, data, and speed. Money became digital, moving across borders faster than laws could follow. Financial markets turned into code traders, no longer shouted on floors. They typed in algorithms that decided billions in milliseconds. Banks merged into giants, investment houses became empires, and the new kings wore suits, not crowns. Every transaction left a digital footprint, every asset a traceable number. Power shifted once more. From vaults to servers, from bankers to coders, money had finally become information. But not all money moves in daylight. Hidden within offshore havens and encrypted accounts lies the shadow banking system. Trillions flowing beyond regulation. Private equity funds, hedge networks, and shell corporations trade power in secrecy. This is where influence hides, beyond governments, beyond oversight. From Panama to the Cayman Islands, digital money slips through invisible pipelines. No army can trace it, no law can stop it. The financial elite don't just use the system, they own it. Today, a handful of institutions hold more influence than entire nations. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, they collectively manage over $20 trillion. Through complex webs of ownership, they control pieces of nearly every major company on Earth. Oil, tech, food, defense. Their portfolios shape our daily lives. These aren't governments, they are the markets. And when they shift investments, entire economies tremble. In the age of global finance, democracy has competition. When crises strike, the world looks to the central banks, the modern priesthood of finance, the Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan. Together they dictate the rhythm of the world economy. With interest rates and liquidity injections, they decide who prospers and who collapses. These decisions aren't made by nations, but by committees, unelected, unseen, and immensely powerful. The fate of billions rests on their forecasts and faith. Now even they are being replaced, not by people, but by code. IEE systems trade billions in microseconds, predicting market moods before humans can react. Money has become fully autonomous, self-moving, self-generating. The question is no longer who controls the money, it's what. As algorithms learn, they may no longer need us, and when code starts writing code, who owns the world then? From kings to coders, from gold to data, the story has always been the same: control. But as money becomes pure code, its masters become shadows. No single nation or person holds the strings anymore. The system itself does. And the more we depend on it, the less power we truly have. The paradox of our age is clear. We built the machine that now owns us. Who controls the world's money? Perhaps no one, and everyone,